Hey, welcome back to my Crip Life. It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, so it's been a while. So what happened is basically I was all excited and ready to go and get this up and running back when I didn't have much equipment. And so I ordered equipment and I made a few videos. And then when the equipment got here, took a few weeks to put it all together, and during all of this time I'm trying to think about what I'm going to be doing with the channel and what kind of shows I want to make, and or videos, what kind of content. And I had this huge blank slate in front of me and all this new shiny equipment, and it kind of overwhelmed me and I became paralyzed with indecision. So that's why I have not done anything for a while. That's why you haven't seen anything on this channel uploaded except for the game session, Tales from the Crypt, which if you haven't checked out, you should go check that out. It's pretty fun. It is a tabletop role-playing game that we do weekly, myself and three neurodivergent and or disabled friends. And we do a game, like I said, every week. It's a horror game, and it's a lot of fun. So check that out if you haven't yet. But I'm going to be getting back to making content here. Basically, like I said, I kind of psyched myself out with having so many options and so many things I could do and not really knowing what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, a lot of the YouTubers that I personally follow and enjoy do more in-depth 15, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour or more videos where they write out scripts and they do all these very complex things. And so I was thinking in terms of things like that, and just very quickly and easily overwhelmed myself psychologically. So I think what I'm going to be doing, and kind of settled on this last weekend, and a friend of mine was talking to me about it last night and I agreed with them, is that I'm going to be basically just recording. I'm just going to try to make a video every day or every couple days and put it up, and it's just going to be about whatever is going on in my life and whatever I want to talk about. And the name right there, in the corner says it all. This is basically my life, and I would like to pretend that my life is some big, complex, planned out thing, and it's not. It's random chaos on a daily basis. It's the chaos of trying to survive as a disabled person, which is a lot of fun. So I will just stick with that, and if I get ideas for longer form videos that I want to do, and topics that I want to cover more in depth, then I can always do that. There's nothing stopping me, but I don't need to psych myself out by making that be what this is about. Because I was sitting there and I was thinking, okay, well, if I do a weekly thing, what am I going to put in it? What am I going to call it? Or if I do it twice a week, I need segments, I need topics, I need ideas. And I went, no, I finally realized I'm getting away from what I set out to do originally, which was just show disabled life. So I'm going to just show disabled life. And if you are new and this is the first time you're watching something of mine, let me back up here so you can see. I am in a power wheelchair that I drive with my hand right here. And I do everything with my mouth. I'm 47. I've been doing everything with my mouth my entire life, and I'm pretty good with it. So, yeah, this is going to be just basically what's going on with me and updates on the things that are going on. So, like I said, it's been a while. But I wanted... Oh, the dogs. Hi, doggies. Zoe, you want to come say hello? Come on up. Come here. Come see me. This is Zoe. This is my service dog. Yes, that is my Zoe. She was my wife's service dog until she passed. My partner passed back in October, if this is your first time watching, and we were together for 28 years, married for 27. We're both non-binary. They were disabled as well and had cancer and all kinds of things. And it wasn't the cancer that got them, so that's good. And fuck cancer. But it's just me on my own now. And so this is my existence now, is I'm on my own and I'm trying to get by. So I have Zoe, who was Sylv's service dog and is now my service dog. Zoe is only 2, so I couldn't just retire her. She's super hyper and young and full of energy and potential and wants to be a service dog and wants to go out and do things. So I made sure that she gets to continue doing that. So she goes with me at least once a day out on a run to go get my Starbucks and my daily trip out if I want to grab anything. She always goes for that to get out of the house, get some exercise. And then Zelda, who is my service dog for 9 years, is retired now, and she's short and chunky, so you can't see her. She can't come up here. But I will get you video of her soon. She knows I'm talking about her. She's all excited. Her tail is wiggling. Yes, her ears. Yes, her tail is wiggles, and her ears are all perked because she knows I'm talking about her. Zelda, you gonna talk? You gonna speak? Talk shit. Can you talk shit? Oh, yeah. I don't know if you could hear that, but that was Zelda. And she's 9, and she is... There she is in the background. Zoe, Zelda. Zoe, get down. Zoe, no. Zelda is a mix of Rhodesian Ridgeback, Basenji, and Pit. And she looks like a chunky little pit that is rhodey colored. She has very, very short legs and big, tanky, chunky body. An adorable little gremlin face. She is my chunky girl. And then Zoe is a mix of Rottweiler and Pit on her mom's side and Border Collie and Heeler on her dad's side. And she is much longer and lankier. Only weighs about 10 pounds more. But she is much taller, much longer, much lankier, and like I said, full of energy. The Border Collie and Heeler breeds are both just, they're herding dogs. So they are nonstop go, 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 energy, energy, energy. And that's pretty much Zoe. Zelda is OCD, like Daddy, and is obsessed with her ball. Ball is love for Zelda, and so she doesn't want pets. She likes treats, but she prefers that if you're going to show her affection, you do it by throwing her ball for her. And those are the dogs. So what have I been up to? I've basically been up to trying to survive since I last posted. Just making sure I have enough money to stay where I'm at, to not be put in a facility or have to move in with a friend. I don't have any family that I can fall back on or move in with. I'm estranged from most of them. Down the line, I'll probably go into some of that, but not today. So yeah, I have this condo here on the Vegas Strip, or near the Vegas Strip, and it's actually not terribly expensive. I pay $13.50 a month for it, which is pretty damn good. It's a 1-bedroom condo. Like I said, about a 5-minute wheelchair drive from the Strip where I draw caricatures. And it's got a strip view on the balcony. It's got a washer and dryer in it. It's got granite countertops. It's a nice little condo, which, like I said, again, $13.50 is not bad at all. We've been here for about going on 6 years now, I think. In this condo, we lived in a different place here in Vegas a few years before that. But this is home, and this is where we lived when Sylv had to go into the ER for the last time, and so this is where I'd like to stay. I have not been able to work the Strip this entire time since Sylv passed in October until last Saturday, a couple days ago. This is Monday the 26th, so on the 24th, Saturday the 24th, which is ironically the 4-month anniversary of Sylv passing, October 24th. I went out and worked for the first time on the Strip, drew caricatures. I was out there for about 4 or 5 hours, made about $120. Days aren't nearly as good as the evenings. I mean, that's not bad money. People would love to make that, I know, in 4 or 5 hours. I appreciate that. But I can't do it every day, and it's not something that the money is there every day. It's mostly weekends and sometimes on the evenings, and it's too cold right now to do the late evenings, which is where the real money is once people are drunk and loosened up. So, it wasn't a bad day. As far as days go, it was pretty good. Did a couple actual caricatures of people out there and worked on a new portrait for the book that I'm working on. I did a backer kit crowdfunding for a book called Make Art Do Crime, which is in progress. I did another portrait for that. I have 24 portraits that I need to do total, and I'm getting through them day by day, and then writing the book as well. It's going to be, the story is about my legal battle with Metro over my rights to do what I do out there. And I won that battle with them, and the book's going to basically explain how I got into caricatures and that whole legal battle that I had to go through with the police here in Las Vegas to finally be left alone and do what I do in peace. It's something that Silva and I fought for years, and we finally got a victory. They could start back up at any time, of course. They at any time could start ticketing me again and trying to shut me down, and there's nothing stopping them from doing that other than the fact that I would sue them again, but it can take years for that to go through, and in the meantime they could make my life very miserable. So here's hoping they don't do that. They will eventually, I'm sure. They always go back to it eventually. We'll see how long I get before I have to go fight them again. Hopefully quite a while. But so I haven't been able to work out there, largely because I don't have anybody here with me anymore that can pack me up and unpack me. So like right now, if I wanted to work when the money is best, which is between 10 and midnight, I would need to go out there between 10 and midnight. This time of year, that's cold. So I would either need to have somebody come by before I go to work and dress me warmly, and then also be here when I get back to take all those layers off, or I'd end up sleeping in all those layers. Or I need, to have better weather where I don't have to bundle up. And I really only get 2 aid visits a day. That's all I can really afford at the moment. So having them come to help me with that would mean that they're not here when I get back, and it's just a huge logistical nightmare. So I've been having trouble getting that worked out. That's part of the reason I haven't worked. The other part of the reason has been just the weather in general, and this time of year is dead here. As far as, even if I was out there from 10 to midnight, I wouldn't be making that much money, except maybe on Fridays and Saturdays. So I have resolved some of those issues. I have a friend, an aide, who can come over an extra trip a day. He doesn't live too far away, and he walks over here. So he can always come over and help me if I need it, and that has opened up some of my availability. So once the weather clears up here, I should be able to get back to a more regular work schedule out there and start making more consistent money on the strip again. But it's going to mean paying more to have somebody here to help me do that. It's not something they can just do for free every day, and I wouldn't expect them to. So these are the logistical hurdles I've been dealing with in trying to get back to work. So I've mostly been working on the portraits for the book, writing the book, and doing some commissions. I had a number of portrait and pet portrait commissions come in over the last month or two that kept me busy and made some money, and that helped. At the moment, we're heading into March. I have the rent for March settled. That's not going to be a problem. I have my aid care and food for this week and for next week covered, so that's not going to be a problem. But beyond the basic necessities of food and my aid care and the rent, there's still a lot to cover. I need to be able to do utilities. I need to be able to make sure that I have all the puppy pads for the dogs and make sure that they've got their food. I always make sure that if I can't feed them, I don't feed me, that I try to squeeze us both something, and it's never been that desperate yet, so hopefully it stays that way. But I'm just, trying to kind of find normal. It's been 4 months now, and I still don't really know what normal is or what, my life is going to be. It's still very much in flux. I mean, it's stabilized on a day-to-day basis, and that there's not a crisis every day anymore, which is good. But it still feels like it's not really taken shape yet. It's still in progress, and maybe it's always going to be in progress. I don't know. I've been trying to do some work on myself. I got a few audiobooks about Zen Buddhism that I've been listening to. I would not call myself Buddhist. I don't know enough about the religion itself and the different scriptures of the Buddha. I don't know the sutras. I don't know a lot of the actual religion, but Zen itself is something that you don't necessarily need to be even Buddhist to practice. Zen is basically a way of living and a way of meditating and a way of looking at life. And so I've been focusing on that and just really trying to find that quality within myself and focus on that. And one of the books I was listening to was by Thich Nhat Hanh, who is or was a Vietnamese Buddhist priest, Zen Buddhist priest, who got exiled from Vietnam during the war because he went to a peace conference with other religious leaders and could not go home. So he spent a lot of time in Paris and then in the United States, wrote some books, did a lot of teaching, and is one of the more modern father figures, I guess you would say, of Zen Buddhism in the West. So I was listening to his book, and he's telling you the proper ways to sit and the proper way, to do the meditation and to do the breathing exercise, which is basically what the meditation is. If you're not familiar with Zen, I'll give you a very brief crash course here in a minute. But a lot of it focuses on the way you sit and having the proper posture, which for me is not a thing. I do not have proper posture, and I never will. And so that gets frustrating when so much of a book is dedicated to that kind of thing, and I get why they're doing it. The whole point behind the posture and behind the way that you sit when you're doing it, it all has meaning, and it all has both symbolic and psychological and physiological meaning and importance. But it's not something that everybody can do. And so I was pleasantly surprised when a bit further into the book, he talks about he uses horses as an analogy, and talks about what is a good horse and what is a bad horse. A good horse is a horse that runs without needing to be whipped, that just runs at command and, is ready to run. A bad horse has to taste the whip in order to start going fast. A good horse needs the threat of the whip, but doesn't need to necessarily feel the whip. And so he's going through all of these and explaining the different, breakdown of it. And he says that, in a way, and I'm trying to remember, I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said that in a way, perhaps the worst horse is actually the best horse, and the best horse is actually the worst horse. Because putting it back into meditation practice ideas, at the end of the day, it's not about your posture. It's not about the right form. It's about the effort and the intention. And that the horse that is not good at running and is not trained to run, but tries, often succeeds more than the horse that just wants to run. That basically the effort and the intention behind what most would consider the weaker horse is stronger. It's a stronger effort, and it means more. And so it was a moment that was very nice to me. It was a very touching moment in realizing that he's basically saying that if you can't sit this way, if you can't do these proper things, that doesn't mean you can't do this. And it doesn't mean that you're bad at it. In fact, you may be even better at it because you're having to work without the tools, and you're doing it purely from intent and effort rather than from, the rote physicality of it. And that you'll never forget why you're doing it and what it's for and what it's about, because you have to put that effort in every time that the others don't have to. And so that, like I said, that made me feel good, and actually made me feel like he is thinking about people like me, that he is thinking about the disabled, he is thinking about the infirm, the elderly, the people that can't sit that way. And that actually changed my mind about a lot of it and got me to kind of loosen up. So again, I would not consider myself Buddhist, but to give you the quick and dirty version of what Zen is basically, put simply, it's breathing. Zen is basically existing in the moment. Zen is living now in this very second, not 10 minutes from now, not 10 days from now, not 10 days ago. It's about just living in this very moment and being mindful and aware of your surroundings and everything you're doing until you're one with all of it. That basically you start the breathing and you focus on the breathing, breathing in, breathing out, just very basic breathing, and that you focus on it until you don't even need to think about it anymore. And that if thoughts come to your head, you acknowledge those thoughts and then you just let them go. You don't go down rabbit holes. You don't go off on tangents. You don't try to think about anything in particular. You let your mind bring up whatever it wants to bring up. And then you acknowledge that thing and you let it go. And if it brings up something else, you acknowledge that and you let it go. And you just keep doing that until your mind is clear and you're aware of everything around you just by breathing and existing, that even if your eyes are closed, you can feel the room around you. You can hear life around you. You can hear the world around you. You know, the dogs, the traffic outside, the echo of my voice off, you know, the walls or the ceiling or whatever, you know, that you're attuned to all of that. And the point of Zen is not to just do this when you're sitting and meditating and breathing. That's the work, that's the exercise and the practice of it. But true Zen is living, it's a way of living, that you try to carry that attitude and that mindfulness and that open and emptiness throughout everything you do. So that when you're eating food, you're just eating the food and tasting the food and feeling the textures of the food and enjoying it for what it is. And when you are working, you are doing the work that you're doing and you are paying attention to the details of what you're doing and letting yourself feel every element of it and see every element of it and truly appreciate being in the moment doing the thing rather than just doing it subconsciously while you're thinking about 10 other things. My way of working as an artist is very contrary and counter to this. What I normally do is I put on a podcast or, you know, a TV show or something that I don't necessarily have to watch closely. I can just have in the background and hear. So it's usually a TV show I've seen before or a movie that I've seen before. And then I will draw while I'm listening to that. So it's keeping my brain busy while I'm just drawing on autopilot. And that's how I've gotten through up until now, is doing it that way. But I've been trying to also draw more in the moment and do more Zen breathing while I'm drawing and just enjoying the art, enjoying the work, and it's helping. It's actually, it does work, and it makes the anxiety of the work and makes the stress of it lessen, and it does make it more enjoyable. I usually have to have the things going in the background because I'll get bored and get frustrated and not be able to keep my focus on the art. Even though I'm not really paying attention to the art, I'm listening to what I'm listening to. The part of my brain that is working on the art will just disengage and I'll get bored if I don't have something to keep me occupied. And so I've found that just the mindfulness, the meditation, the breathing while I'm drawing is enough to keep me focused and to keep me from getting bored, because I'm actually experiencing every moment that I'm drawing rather than doing it on autopilot and not even paying attention. And that's not to say that the work is bad when I autopilot it. I'm good at what I do. It's, you know, I'm 47. I've been doing this for a very long time. And even on autopilot, I do just fine. My art's good. You know, I could be better, but any artist could be better. So it's not a huge quality difference. I haven't noticed that, wow, my art is so much better when I'm doing the Zen while I'm drawing. It's not that much better or different, but it does make the experience different, and it makes the experience enjoyable and interesting in a different way. So I'm not having to just distract myself. I'm able to actually fully immerse myself in what I'm doing. That's not to say that I'm at a point yet where I'm mentally able to do that every time I work. I still am using the distractions. You know, I am still watching things or listening to things while I'm working from time to time. It depends on my mood and the day I'm having, but I'm getting better at it, and I'm just trying to live in general on a daily basis more present and just in the moment and focused. So that's what I've been mostly doing. That's the major thing, aside, you know, from the commissions and such, is I've just been working on that. And I've been doing my game session once a week. I have the role-playing game, again, Tales from the Crypts, which is also here on this channel. And I've been, let's see, in the evenings, I've been on occasion taking edibles. In Nevada here, it's legal. In Vegas, there's a dispensary down the street. I don't smoke. I've never smoked cigarettes, and I've only smoked weed a couple of times. I tried it a few times as a kid, didn't really like it. And I say kid, I mean like high school, junior high, high school, when you do that kind of thing. And it just really wasn't for me. I don't like smoking in general. I don't like the burn in the lungs, and it's not something I can easily do myself without help. But edibles, I can just pop a gummy. That's easy. So I have been doing that to help me find some mellow and some altered states of consciousness. I do that in the evenings after all my work is done. I don't do that first thing when I get up and then just waste my day. So it's an evening thing that once my work is done, once I've finished the things I want to do for the day, then I relax and will treat myself to that sometimes. I spend less than $100 on it a month. It's not that expensive. So it's not like all my money is going to it. It's not like all my time's going to it. It's something that I couldn't do when Sylv was around. Sylv was extremely allergic to all cannabis-related things, so it wouldn't have even been an option. And I can't have a drink to unwind, because if I have a drink, then I'll need to pee, and if my aide has already come, then I have to wait for the next visit, and that can cause problems. So this is actually a nice solution to it. It doesn't make me have to use the restroom. It doesn't, cause issues like that, and I'm able to enjoy myself and just kind of relax. If that bothers some of you, I'm sorry. I think that most people nowadays are kind of fine with it and mellow, and don't see it as a big deal. I personally don't see it as a big deal. But that is something that I've been doing, and it's also been helping in its own ways. And let's see, what else have I been doing? Largely psyching myself out over this and making these videos, which I'm finally making one. And doing some stuff for the TV show for Sex on Wheels. That is on the back burner. I have some stuff coming up for that on the TV end, both today and in a few weeks, hopefully. So nothing I can talk about at the moment, but hopefully good. And that's pretty much it. Just been trying to kind of figure out what my life is and what I'm doing and who I am now that I'm on my own. So that's today's video. I want to try doing one every day, just talking a little bit, even if it's just a few minutes, not as long as this one. Talk a little bit each day about what I'm doing or what's going on or things that I've noticed or want to talk about, and I will do that in these videos as we go forward. I'm just going to freeform it. I don't have a script for it, and if I start planning that far ahead, I'll overwhelm myself and talk myself out of doing it. So I will just do it in the moment and just make it about life rather than about specific topics. And like I said, if I ever get a topic I do want to talk about, I can do it. But the pressure isn't on me to do that. I also want to start taking video on my phone when I'm out and about doing things, show you guys what my existence is like when I'm out with Zoe and doing things with Zoe, and we're out in public, or when I'm doing things on my own and how I do things on my own. I think those are all things you'd be interested in seeing, not just me sitting at a desk talking. So I'm hoping to get more interaction and more aspects of my life covered in this, and I hope that you will go along for the ride with me. I'm going to keep adding stuff as we go, but thank you. Like and subscribe, pass it around, let people know, and feel free to ask me questions or mention things in the comments that you'd like me to talk about or things that you want to know about, and I will do my best to try and address them. So for now, thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye.